Okay, back to our regularly scheduled programming, right? So I wanted to read to you. Let's see the light adjust better. So I wanted to read to you, making sure there's not a dog on the bench. Some of the things, some technologies that you may or may not be familiar with that have disturbed our environment and thus our. Boop, I touched something, it's okay though. Thus, us, right? So the body is a natural, just amazing machine. It is constantly bringing itself or working towards bringing the body's incessant work, literally 24/7, while you're sleeping, while you're awake, is to bring you back to equilibrium, back to balance. So just a few things they may or may not be familiar with that are, let's see. It's okay. Well, just listen to the information. Doesn't matter what I look like. Okay. Why interfere with a natural process? So I'm reading from Dr. Fred Bell. He is a direct descendant of, is it Abraham Bell? It is Abraham, right? Alexander Graham Bell. But Abraham was like a Graham and an Alexander mixed together for me. So I'm reading from his life accomplishments. Okay. So preceding this little bit that I'm going to read, he's talking about just how the body naturally is just very perfect. But some unnatural things have come in, i.e. technology, man-made technology that's disrupted the environment. The environment is disrupted, then our systems and our very perfectly working natural body processes are also disrupted. So there are 8 things that are major things that he mentions. Number 1 is toxic fossil fuel hydrocarbons. I don't even know what that is. I'm sure that has something to do with fracking. That's just a guess. Number 2 is radiation, both of organic and non-organic made origin. So yeah, I don't know if that means man-made and not man-made, but radiation. ELF. So if you have ever heard somebody talk about ELF waves, an ELF wave is an extremely low frequency electromagnetic wave. Extremely low frequency radiation. Sorry. Wave of radiation, probably. EMF, number 4, electromagnetic frequency radiation. Cellular and Wi-Fi frequency radiation. 6 is endless chemicals that permeate our food and water supplies. Fluoride is in water. I washed my hands in the bathroom today and I was like, the fuck? The water didn't smell right. And I mentioned I got it was like a big deal for me last year to get a new shower head that filters out like the hard water or whatever, the soft water, I'm not sure. One of the two. So you have the optimum water, and I've just been washing my hands in the shower head today because the water smells a bit funny. Cellular, Wi-Fi, we talked about that. Endless amounts of chemicals. Food. Like I'm like, there's certain foods my Vegas serve is like, nah. Like I have safe foods and I mostly just have like places that I get food from here or like they're safe like foods. And I bless my food and stuff. Steroids in our livestock. I don't eat meat, but that is definitely a thing. Like they put all kinds of stuff. Steroids, also antibiotics they put into cows so that because and I remember learning this in a book called Skinny Bitch that I recommend for everyone. I'm not like a pushing veganism person, but I decided to be vegan. I announced to my parents when I was like 13 years old, I'm never eating another animal product again. I didn't know. I just loved animals so much. But because they the pasteurization process and because they excrete such an excessive amount of milk from the nipples, there's infections in the nipples. That's the need for the antibiotics. The cow produces the amount of milk that it needs to take care of the baby that it's just had. But the motherfucking slaughterhouse just took that baby. There's your veal. And they squeeze these metal things that just squeeze and squeeze and squeeze that pus comes out because they're making the milk produce like twice as much as she was going to be producing for her baby that's not even there. She's in pain because she misses her baby, and pus comes out of her udders, and that's what the antibiotics are for. Do they give them painkillers? Probably fucking not. Sorry, the whole like animal like meat industry is just really sad from my heart. Okay. Steroids. So when you are what you eat, very literally. So steroids, they're also injecting antibiotics into meat. So all the meat that you're eating is with steroids, antibiotics, whatever the fuck, as well on a fucking energy level. Those animals live a life of suffering. When they die, cows, a lot of them, they kill them with their ankles hung up and they, like with a machete, just smash their necks. They sometimes don't even get the whole neck off. So they just know they're the next one. We've talked about this. Thoughts precede physiological reactions, then emotions. So, you know, adrenaline goes up, fight or flight goes up. The blood that you're eating is like, I'm not being anything like don't eat meat, whatever. That's just a fact. Those animals are fucking terrified, and so is the meat when they die. You know. Um, the last one is many other forms of negative energies and conditions. Well, that's kind of general. There was another one I wanted to point out here in this helpful little pamphlet. Things that can protect you from that. Shanghai. There's a little piece of Shanghai. You can't see it. Shanghai is good at protecting from that. Nuclear receptors from Pyradyne are good at protecting from that. I wanted to read you something about breast cancer. And are you okay back there? Sometimes he falls asleep and he rolls off. Bean? That's the baby Hollander. Okay, so dairy. I take cheese sometimes, like if it's from like with like pizza and stuff, I'm not picky. I don't travel. When I used to travel a lot, like in Europe and stuff, I would have cream with coffee, stuff like that. I'm trying to think, do I take like any dairy at all right now in my life? Sometimes my friend gets me ice cream and I like take a couple bites, but I don't really like it. Dairy, and also it's not good for like apparently my blood type. Dairy. Dairy. So we just talked about the pussing cow nipples, right? Okay. In the United States, make sure to exhale all your air out. In the United States, if a pregnant woman were eating dairy products such as milk, cheese, butter, yogurt, the radiation from these over-the-counter store-bought items would accumulate in her breast milk. By her 9th month, her breast milk would contain more radiation than is allowable by employees of a nuclear power plant. No wonder so many women have breast cancer today. Darn. In Japan, several people, well, that's ground zero. He talked about people walking out of Hiroshima, but I'm going to finish with this one. Hormones trigger feelings. All of our feelings, i.e., sexual energy, motivation, meditation, contemplation, and metabolization, are triggered in this fashion excuse me, as long as all of the catalyzing ingredients previously mentioned are present. Each endocrine gland can be triggered by the appropriate vibration from a mineral gemstone, sound, planetary influence, lunar influence, electromagnetic wave, or color. This then releases the physical counterpart via the endocrine system and thus switches the brain to the appropriate octave. Don't forget, it's always all about sound, too. I love you more. Bye.